Well, we are now into the semifinal, and what I'm going to be doing a little bit different in terms of this preview is that I am going to be just doing this preview in front of my webcam instead of using the board that is behind me right there. But yeah, we are into the semifinal. We have two matchup that is going to happen tomorrow. And by the way, I am wearing an Iceland jersey, even though Iceland is out of this tournament. And for those of you that think that, you still believe in kind of like jinxing and in terms of me kind of like wearing one of the team that is still remain in this tournament, and that could be a possible jinx that I will put on a team to potentially move on into the next round. That is pretty much the reason why I decided to wear an Iceland jersey, and I decided to not wear a jersey for any team that is still in the World Cup. But getting back on track and talking about these two games in the semifinal, we have Belgium versus France tomorrow in the first semifinal, and then we have Croatia versus England on Wednesday for the second semifinal, and that is the one that I will be paying attention the most because I am, of course, an England fan. But I'm pretty sure that for those of you that are not England fan or Croatia fan, or you're just a neutral kind of fan, or just a casual kind of World Cup kind of fan, you would pretty much pay attention to the Belgium versus France match more than you would with the Croatia versus England match. Not that the Croatia and England match is not interesting, which I'll get to it second, but the Belgium versus France match just seems like a semi-final kind of match. I mean, you have one team that is France that many people picked potentially can win the whole thing, and that people would expect them to at least make it to the semi-final, which they did just that. And then you got Belgium, which many people penciled them as the dark horse coming into this tournament, and after what they did in the group stage, you would think that they would definitely make it into the semifinal. And although they kind of had to like struggle their way throughout the knockout stage, including have to kind of go against history and trying to make history, become the first team to come back from 2-0 down in the second half to win a game. They definitely deserve to be in the semifinal. And you look at this matchup between both of these teams, there is really little to separate between both of these teams. I mean, both of these attacks are really, really good, and you could maybe argue Belgium attack is a little bit better than the French attack because so far Belgium have scored the most goal in this tournament. I think they have scored 13 goals in this tournament in those 6 games. And if you also look at the midfield for both of these teams, both of these teams definitely have good midfielders, and both of these teams seems to do very well in the middle of the park too. So that, of course, leads us to the defensive part of this game, and I really think this is where potentially the game could be win or lose for Belgium, because I really think that if you look at both defense, you got to say that the French defense is so much better than the Belgium defense. I mean, the Belgium defense, with Vincent Company and Jan Vertonghen and Tony Alderweireld in there, that's definitely not a very kind of, you would say, a world-class defense. And plus, they will not have Thomas Meunier in this game because he got suspended in the last game because of yellow card accumulation. That just makes that Belgium defense much, much weaker. And I'll tell you what, this must be a absolute dream kind of scenario for Kylian Mbappe, because I just have a feeling in this game Mbappe is gonna do the same thing he did with Argentina. You know how Argentina had like kind of like a weak defense? Well, since Belgium has a weak defense, and since with Meunier not in this game, Mbappe is gonna just continue to just bomb forward on that right side, and unless Belgium will find a way to try to contain that right side, Mbappe is just going to have an absolute field day with that Belgium defense. And I really think that if Belgium was going to potentially win this game, which as of now, I think some people will say that France does have the advantage over Belgium coming into this game. But if Belgium does want to move on to the final in this game, then I really think it doesn't come in terms of trying to be locked down in the defensive end, but that they just got to outscore France. I mean, I really think this is going to be one of those matches where there's going to be definitely a lot of goals, and I think if Belgium want to win, they're going to have to outscore France. They're going to have to score at least 3 or 4 goals, knowing that the defense is going to their defense is going to give up at least 2 goals in this game to France. So, yeah, that is certainly one thing that they'll probably do. And for France, I think the key to winning this game and moving on into the final is just completely destroy that Belgium defense and also lock down on their own defensive end, which is definitely not going to be easy. I mean, when you have Lukaku, Hazard, and De Bruyne in the same team trying to go against your defense, and even though France does have a pretty good defense, it is definitely not going to be easy containing that front three of Belgium. So, like I said, I really think this could be either a match where France is just going to blow out Belgium if they have a good defensive display, or it's going to be a high scoring kind of 4-3 kind of game that we're going to see in the semifinal. And certainly it would be I would hope that as a neutral of this game, it would kind of be like a 4-3 kind of game to just make it very exciting. Kind of like what happened in the Brazil versus Belgium match, where it was just so exciting. And even though there was only 3 goals scored in that game, there was so many more chances that game could have easily ended 5-4 or even 6-5 or even 3-2 like that. But now talking about the second game of the semifinal, and the one that I'm definitely going to be giving a lot of more detail into this one, because England is involved in this, is going to be England versus Croatia. And really for England, this is probably the first big test for this team. And I know so far in the games that we have played, we have faced Belgium and Colombia, which, both of those teams are pretty good. But, in that Belgium match, remember, that was a match where we didn't even put our strongest starting 11, and Belgium themselves did not put the strongest starting 11, and it felt like kind of like a friendly match more than actually a World Cup kind of match. And it's just a match where it feels like both teams just want to lose because they want to get into that lower bracket. And I said that the lower bracket was much more easier than the upper bracket, because the teams that is in the lower bracket are teams that is kind of either just dark horse kind of team, or just got there because they have kind of been parking the bus and just maybe relying on a couple of lucky goals to go their way to get into the knockout stage. But Croatia is definitely not one of those teams. Croatia have done very well in the group stage, although in the knockout stage they really have to grind their way into this. And this is where I think this could be a big advantage for England, because Croatia, they have played back-to-back 120-minute game and have played back-to-back penalty kick shootout games. That definitely is going to be really exhausting. I mean, coming into this game, I'm pretty sure Croatia will still be up for this, and those guys will really kind of go at us. But by the time the second half begin, that is when Croatia could get tired out, because of the fact that they have played so many minutes in these last couple of days. And that, I really think that for England, the key for England in this game is that they need to score the first goal. If they can score that first goal and maybe even score a second in the first half, if they can get the lead early, then it will really force Croatia to chase the game. And when you have a Croatian team that is physically exhausted after what happened in the last 2 games, and the fact that this Croatian team has been trying to chase the games in these last 2 games. Remember, the 2 times that they were playing in this knockout stage, both time they went down 1-0. Although one of the thing that I think might be something that could go against England is that both of the times that Croatia went down 1-0, they immediately respond. And I think that is one thing that we got to make sure to do when we've scored that goal, and that is do not let Croatia get back into this game. Just do not look super vulnerable once they score a goal and think that they can just kind of kind of glide their way into the final. I think that is one thing that we have to make sure to do better. But if we can get that 1-0 lead and we can hold on for a long period of time, then that will force Croatia to try to kind of chase the game and try to score that crucial equalizer. And with the way that they've been playing so many minutes of football in these last two games, and that they have to go to back extra time to get to this point, that is going to be a daunting task for the Croatian to ask. But having said that, for England, I think for this game, I'm pretty sure Southgate will stay with the same formation. He hasn't changed his formation throughout the 5 games that we have played. He sticked with the 3-5-2, and I think it probably is going to be maybe the same lineup. The only thing that I would want to change for this game is that I would put Rashford in there instead of Raheem Sterling. And there's been a lot of debate lately about whether or not if Raheem Sterling is good enough to be in this team. I mean, in the last game he was pretty decent in terms of creating those chances, but the biggest problem, and this has been a problem for Sterling throughout his time with England, is that he just cannot finish whatsoever. Like, he can't even finish if his life depends on. And I just think that might be the thing that could ultimately cost his position. And that, I know that Sterling does have pace, and I know that he does have creative ability and can able to get into good area, but if you cannot finish some of the easiest chances in the world, like that last game against Sweden, where he did all the hard work to try to get into good position and even made an absolute beautiful touch after Henderson played a lovely through ball to him. And if he cannot put that one away, then it feels like it's a complete waste of what he just did previously. Like, the most important thing whenever you go on the attack is that you got to make sure you put the ball into the back of net. Sure, the development of the play is definitely important, but probably the most important thing is that once that development of the play went very well and you were able to get into a good position, you have to finish those chances. And I just think that if we keep putting him on, and if he does have some good chance against Croatia and he just bottles it, who knows, are we going to get that same chance later in the game? Because Croatia, their defense is pretty decent too. And also, speaking of Croatia and the other part of their element that is good, we got to watch out for their midfield. Their midfield is going to be the thing that I think we're going to be a little bit concerned, because they have probably the best midfield in this tournament. Well, they have certainly one of the best midfielder in this tournament, that is Luka Modric, but they also have Rakitic and Perisic in that midfield, and that midfield is definitely going to be very, very good, and they're going to try to play those beautiful through ball to one of their striker. And as long as if we can cut those kind of passes, or just, I really think we should just kind of focus on their strikers and just not kind of worry a little bit about their midfield, because I think what we have seen from Croatia is that even though as good as their midfield is, and we have seen this a lot in the knockout stage too, as good as their midfield is, as good as they've been creating some wonderful chance in the midfield, their striker and going forward, they just look a little bit lackluster. Like, their striker are not really trying to take minutes forward and really get into good position to try to potentially put the ball into the back of the net. I think that is one thing that we can try to neutralize. Although, again, I think the best thing we could maybe do is just cut out those passing lane and just completely nullify those attacker for Croatia, so that even though that midfield that has the likes of Modric, Rakitic, and Perisic will maybe find a way to pass around our defense, as long as we cut out those passing lanes, then we can basically just nullify their defense. And as long as we are strong enough to try to make those crucial tackle to make sure that those Croatian attacker and striker doesn't get into a good position to put the ball into the back net, then I am all for it. But either way, that is pretty much it for this preview of the semifinal. Let me know in the comments below what's your prediction of both of these games. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time.